Welcome back. So we're going to continue with section 3 of chapter 3. And it looks like we're going to be working with comparisons a bit more. So what we have to do is we're given an expression and we have to evaluate each one whether it's true or false. So let's start with the first one. And I think most of these expressions here are numeric. Okay, but keep in mind we're not always comparing numbers. We could be comparing text. So I'm going to do Control-C, and I'm going to copy that into Notepad. Okay, so let's do a comparison here. 10 or 20 minus 10 is greater than, that's the greater than symbol, 15. I'm pretty sure that is false. Last time I checked, 10 was not greater than 15. It was less than 15. So the first one is in fact false, and they've placed that in for us. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, and this is also an opportunity to get to see how math is done inside Python. So I want to make the fonts a little bit bigger here. So let's bump this up. Okay, so the comparison we have now is equal to. So when you have equal written 2 times, okay, that's not a variable assignment. That is a comparison. So on the left side, we have 27, and on the right side, now that might be a little bit surprising to you, seeing the number 3 and then 2 exponents and then 16, or sorry, 2 stars and then 16. The 2 stars means exponent, and obviously 3 times 3 times 3, 16 times is going to be a huge number, much bigger than 27. So we can say right away that this is false. We don't even need to calculate this. However, if you want to convince yourself, and I think it's a good idea, bring up your calculator. And I'm using Windows 10, so the calculator I want is the scientific, or maybe the standard. Let's start with the standard one. And no, we don't have the exponent, so I'm going to pick scientific here, and let's do this. 3 to the power of. So power of is this XY symbol on the left hand side, so we'll click that. Notice that there are different ways of representing exponent. You can do it with 2 stars in Python, but other programming languages use that caret symbol. I don't know if you can see it. So it's 3 to the power of 16. Let's enter 16, and we press equals, and you can see that's a huge number, 43 million, and you can see the expression right above it that we entered 3 caret 16, or 3 exponent 16. So that's, some programming languages will use that for exponent, and of course Python just uses 2 stars. So we're going to enter false for that. That one is obviously going to be false. Okay, and we're going to go through this one by one. So the next one, let's copy that in. Okay, so the comparison we have here, left and right, okay, less than or equal to. So this is another exponent, 1 to the power of 2. So 1 times 1, well, I'm afraid 1 times 1 is still 1, and it is less than or equal to minus 1. Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty certain 1 is greater than minus 1. So again, we're going to have a false value with this one. So let's go ahead and enter false. And I think I mentioned it before, it needs to light up blue. If it doesn't light up, check the first letter, make sure you have a capital F for false or a capital T for true. We'll go on to the fourth one. Okay, so Control copy. Okay, so in this case, we're just simply doing a multiplication. So remember that the star means multiply, so 40 times 4, well, that's 40 times 4, so 40, 80, 160, and I'm pretty sure 160 is greater than or equal to -4. So that one is true. We'll enter true for that. And then we'll go on to the last example here. Okay, so I think in the last example, we have another exponent. So our comparison here is not equal to. So on the left side, we have 100. And on the right side, we have 10 exponent 2. So 10 exponent 2 means 10 times 10. Well, 10 times 10 is 100. So we have 100 on the left and 100 on the right. So how can that not be equal? They are equal. Okay, so that must be false because 100, well, last time I checked, equals 100. So we'll write false for the last one, and we'll do a quick run here to see if any mistakes were done. And didn't get enabled. Let's try that again, and it's enabled. Let's click next. And I think we're doing more of the same here, okay? So what we need to do, something similar, we're going to do this in reverse order, okay? So we want to make each variable, Boolean 1, Boolean 2, 3, and 4, either true or false, and we do it by entering an expression of some kind. And I think they give us special instructions. Use at least 3 different ones. So these are our comparisons. So let's quickly review our comparisons, and I'm going to try to use as many of them as possible so we can get practice with all of them. So first one means equal to. Next one, not equal to. That is greater than. That is greater than or equal to, less than, and finally less than or equal to. So these are the basic operations, and they're pretty much the same across any programming language. So that's a good investment because it's not going to change too much when you go from, from Python to C++ to any other programming language. So let's go ahead and try to come up with expressions that make it false. So the first one we need to do is Boolean 2, and we need to make Boolean 2 false with one of those expressions. So let's write two numbers, 6 and 7. Okay, so how do 6 and 7 relate in a false way? Well, if I say equal to, if I use the equal comparison, that is clearly not going to be true. So I'm going to copy that in. That has to be false. We'll put that in there. Right click and paste. For Boolean 3, the third variable, we want to make it true. Okay, so how do we compare the numbers 6 and 7? Now, it doesn't have to be the number 6 and 7. I just chose those two numbers. You can choose any numbers you want. So in this example, we want to make this true. Well, the only way we can compare these things in a true way is to say that 6 is greater than, or sorry, not greater than, 6 is less than or equal to 7. So that is definitely true. We'll put that in there, and I'm just going to stick with those numbers. I'm on a roll right now. So we'll continue on to the next one. We're going to make it false. And let's use the same numbers again. Okay, so 6 and 7. And what operators can we use here to make it false? Well, I'll just put in greater than. So I'm pretty sure 6 is less than 7, so that's going to evaluate to false. So 6 greater than 7. So let's look at the operators we've used so far. Less than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than. Now, the last one, we want to make it true. So I'm pretty sure that if we write 6 is not equal to, now that's the operator for not equal to. It might take you a few minutes to locate the exclamation mark and equal sign on a French keyboard. That is definitely not equal. So that will evaluate to true. Okay, so think it through carefully. Not equal, 6 is not equal to 7. Is that statement true or false? Well, it's true. Okay, so let's copy and paste that in and do a quick test to see how that comes out. So let's click run. And it looks like everything evaluated correctly. So if you have any difficulties with these operators, let me know, and experiment a little bit. Don't just stay with the numbers 6 and 7. Use any numbers you want to become familiar with these operators.